Good morning. This is the Blaine's World webcast that can be found each week on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. You can also listen in on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. And you can also get more information and find out about previous shows at our website, which is behind me, www.blainesworld.net. I'm your host, Blaine Greenfield, and I'm here in my Zoom studio in lovely downtown Fairview, North Carolina. Each week, we focus on positive news and information about people and organizations in both Western North Carolina and throughout the country. And toward that end, it's my pleasure to introduce a friend of mine, and he is Caleb Owolabi. I think I finally have it. Is that it?
You got it. You got it,
Okay.
Blaine. Yep.
And Caleb, you can wave to all your fans and friends who are watching this. So you can give everybody a wave, or okay, we don't want to lose the camera, but you got it. I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. So anyway, this is Caleb. And Caleb, as you'll see, is kind of this amazing guy, entrepreneur, who does about 27 different things. I don't know how you do it, Caleb, but you do it simultaneously. I know you as an actor. I've had the pleasure of acting with you. I know you as a documentarian. You've done some documentaries. You've volunteered in the community. You name it, Caleb, you're involved in it. I guess I have to ask you, first of all, to remind me, you grew up as a child where?
Asheville, North Carolina.
Okay, when you grew up as a child in Asheville, North Carolina, did you ever have an idea what you wanted to be when you grew up?
It's a really good question. I thought I was going to be a toy designer. That's
Did
what I
you?
wanted to be. Yeah, but what happened was through an interesting course of events, scholastically, my career went more towards business, and I had fallen into media in my senior year of college. So that's how I ended up getting into show business in this way. It's because of my experiences on an HBO pilot.
Well, when
So
you did the, you were saying you grew up and you wanted to be a toy designer. Did you ever design any toys?
now I never designed any toys, but I think the idea of just the creativity behind it was something that I ended up that actually became a reality for me. No, but I always thought I wanted to be a toy designer because I had a lot of toys that I played with. Just any kid has figurines and things like that. So I would really create plots for them and design different scenarios for the toys that I had. And whatever toys we get a hold of.
Well, we'll see
Yeah.
as we do this webcast that this will be maybe a seventh or eighth thing you can get involved in your spare time. So after you do all these other things, maybe in your next life, next career, you'll become a toy designer.
Yeah, that'd be something.
So let's take them maybe individually one at a time because it just blows me away. I had the pleasure of meeting you first as an actor. We were in a very big role, but you starred in a Young Frankenstein. I think that was the first time we
Yes,
met. And so talk a
you
little bit
got
about
it.
your theatrical background. Had you always acted as a kid, or when did you start acting?
I never really a little bit here and there, children's theater, I guess you'd call it here and there, but nothing really. I That was my first uh, show that I did, a community theater show was that. Um, and I'm trying to think if there was, and from there I just started doing a lot of different shows around town. I mean, I always wanted to be in plays and in theater, but I was always playing sports or something else, doing another extracurricular activity, so I'd miss the auditions or whatever have you. So yeah, when I got out of school and I was kind of on my own, I the first thing I started to do was community theater. You don't pay anything; it's free. You get to now if you get the audition. I mean, if you get accepted to be if you're cast, then it's a good thing. But if you're not cast, then you learn a great lesson in auditioning. And so I always wanted to do community theater first before I did anything else. And any city later on, any city that I'd be in, I was looking at what are they doing in community theater.
And before you did Young Frankenstein, you mentioned, had you done anything else as a kid or done any other acting?
No,
Oh,
no,
really?
not no, no, nothing formal.
Very
Yeah, really
cool.
nothing organized. Yeah, yeah.
So after you did Young Frankenstein, I know you've done a bunch of things. We'll talk about the latest one, which I was impressed with. But you've also done some other acting. Did you do some movies or you did some other things in terms of
Yeah, I
acting?
done I did. There was a year where Dirty Dancing came. I
Oh,
really,
that's right. Yeah.
yeah, and then I worked on that. And that was really fun and really great learning how to be a production assistant in that world. Because I was with ABC, and then like I said before that, I was on an HBO pilot where I really learned the ins and outs of film. I was on that for a year working as an intern. So it was really, they gave me a lot of responsibility too, at 21 years old. So um, really learned a lot then. And I took that into my career in Nashville. Yeah, just started doing little productions. And then it grew into documentaries,
Well,
I have two Amazon Prime docs. So it's
we'll talk about
pretty,
even that process because what amazed me, Caleb, I think when we last spoke, you were talking about a documentary you did for a local dentist. And
yeah.
what so impressed me with that is that you just learned that skill on your own, or did you watch
Yeah.
YouTube videos, or how did you pick up these skills?
Well, I think it was, a lot of them just innate to me. I feel like I'm a composite of the television, of the 90s. So it's like, all of the kids, millennials, students of the television just watch so much television. I watched so many VHSs, and VHSs became DVDs and Blu-rays and and it was, I feel like that's a big part of it, but also yeah, it was just had to been my senior year, working on that HBO pilot, and then learned a lot there in that year. Also, um, just kind of picked it up. I gained from that some pretty good mentors, that I'd share, but a lot of it was you know, just
Just
going
doing
about
it.
it, just
And
doing it. Yeah, yeah.
and that documentary you did for the dentist, talk a little bit about that one because that kind of took off a little bit nicely. What was that about?
Oh yeah. Yeah, so the documentary on the dentist, well, it still is. We just got it licensed by Amazon, so you could check it out on Amazon Prime. Servants of Smiles. That dentist, Dr. Perry Stamatides, is really a unique guy. I mean, he has his own practice, and his team is such a well-oiled machine, and there's such the most loving team you'll ever. When you go inside their facility, they are the love there is palpable. How much they care for their patients and everything. It was amazing. Filming that month was just like we felt so. It was such a warm environment. I mean, talk about a feel good film. I mean, and it just came out this holiday season on Amazon Prime. That is the feel good documentary of the season because I mean, you're gonna just see it as soon as you watch it. It's just so warm, and I just really enjoyed that. I met him from a leadership, not leadership, but a guess we were in some kind of business forum, business networking, and I met him, and it was very cordial. I started hearing about his ideas that he had because I was talking to the group about what I would do, and then he had some ideas for me. I was like, oh, that's really interesting that a dentist would have ideas that are so related to what I do. And later on, we met for coffee like a month or two later, and he said, "Hey, this is what I'm working on." I said, "Oh, this could be actually something." He said, I have a day of service that I offer free dentistry. I couldn't believe it. I was like, really? That exists? How could you do that? How without losing so much money? And it's true though that he does it, and every year for 10 years, Blaine, he's been doing that.
And talk about the name
And
of the
so
talk about the name of the documentary again.
it's called
What
Servants of Smiles.
and people can find it on Amazon.
Yep.
Very cool. And
Yeah.
after
Smile singular. So Servants of Smile.
Showroom Smile. And after that was in the can, are you working on any other documentaries in your spare time?
Yeah, there's those two. I did that. I did a nature documentary right before. We were happy both of them to be licensed by Amazon Prime, but also the nature documentary is also on Apple TV and Tubi as well for folks who want to watch it at no cost. But um, Currently, you know what? I'm not even working on, I can't say. I have some projects in the works, nothing that I'm in production currently on any
And
documentaries.
I don't know if I had seen the nature documentary, but what's the name of that one?
That's Stewards of Sky Island. And it's just, what we did. We worked with the I'm forgetting my um
We'll just talk about it. So it's
the Southern Appalachian Highland Conservancy,
okay.
right on Merriman. They've been conserving the Western North Carolina, Tennessee, and outward boundaries for almost 50 years. I think they'll have their 50th birthday in the next 2 or 3 years. And they were so amazing. They, really took to my idea, and they said, okay, we'll take your crew up there. We'll lead you guys up there. There was their Rhone naturalists came up, Travis Bordeley. There was Marquette Croquette came out, who's an expert on the fern trees and the red fern and the spruce fern, and they just showed me like an everyday man. I'm not necessarily a conservationist, but I know now things I can do to enjoy and not destroy. And it was all because of that documentary and that expedition that we took to the Roan Mountains in on the border of North Carolina and Tennessee.
Now, speaking to you, the only thing I don't see in your background, I ask this people sometimes, I don't see any roller skates, because I don't know how you do all this, but so you're doing these documentaries, you're acting,
Yeah.
and by the way, finish on acting. So you were just recently in a couple of things which were kind of cool. You were in a play in South Carolina, I believe. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, South Carolina. Oh man, it's what a place. So I do most work in the Carolinas. All of my work is featured in the Carolinas, and it's based on, family, sustainability, and what was the other one? Family, sustainability, and education. So those are my three media. It's like my media ethos, my guiding compass when it comes to what I produce. So I'm here in South Carolina producing, developing two specials. One with SCE TV, which is a PBS affiliate. Okay, and then they're in Columbia, so I'm developing that. That's in the works still, but it's being developed. And then another show out of a studio in Taylor's. So in between, doing that, I have some time on my hands. As one can imagine, you have to wait and sit on your hands for a little bit. A lot of hurry up and wait in the business of producing. So I said, there's a theater here called the Greenwood Community Theater. It's one of the oldest community theaters in the United States. I want to say 1959, but it could be older. But at any rate, I did a great show there. I did Little Shop of Horrors. You've heard of that, right, Blaine?
Sure. Yeah. I've seen it a couple of times. It's a fun show.
Yeah, I know you are a theatrical file, so you know a lot of the shows. And so, boy, they did a beautiful job putting that set together. And I played Patrick Martin, and I really enjoyed everybody I worked with there. Their whole staff just welcomed me with open arms. Not being from South Carolina, I'm an Asheville native. They just were like, yeah, come and, they get red carpet treatment, red carpet treatment. And it wasn't, I had to audition like everyone else, but I just felt like they really just embraced me in that community during that show. So it was a great time.
Then it was really cool right around that time or right after. You also did something in conjunction with your mom and talk about that too, because you do that in Senate every year.
Yeah, yeah, you do your research. Yeah, I did this. My mom works for the Asheville City Schools, and she does this holiday assistance program. Actually, Asheville Community Theater has been also has donated to this program and a lot of other organizations in town. But and so what she'll do is she'll get presents. She'll get donations from around the community, and they'll give presents to some of the students who need it the most. Um, at I believe it's just at Claxton Elementary, and that's right on. If folks that are listening that don't know Asheville, that's like right in the center of town. It's one of those elementary schools that are right in town, and I've come to really enjoy helping her each year. And no matter where I was, and I think I just flown in or something, but I drove as soon as I flew into the Asheville Regional Airport. I drove right over to their school and was able to catch them. This year they had it like a well-oiled machine. They really had a lot of staff and helpers, where in previous years I probably did a little bit more, but they had a feast for the students and the parents. They had gifts galore, for all those students. Those students, I know those kids really appreciated that, and every year they do. And so I've come to really enjoy doing that as a volunteer activity, and hope to see other ways too, that I can volunteer in the community going forward. But it's been something I've been able to do with along my busy schedule. So,
Did you go to Claxton?
and I didn't go to Claxton actually. We went to Buncombe County schools. We were in the Owen district. So for anyone listening familiar with the Owen district, that's over near Black Mountain,
Right.
Swananoa. Yeah, and that's where we went, and then so for pretty much elementary, middle, and part of my high school before I transferred. So yeah, it was definitely a
And so when you're not doing all this other stuff, and again, it's almost like I'm almost overwhelmed by, all the stuff you do. You were telling me not too long ago, you also started now, I guess, what would you call it? It's a business, but it's shopping network, or how would you describe
yeah.
what else you're doing?
Yeah, it's a modern day shopping network. It's called calebshowroom.com. Really, the whole premise behind it is to highlight small businesses, okay, that don't really have $1 million media budget to, or an ability to put an ad in the Super Bowl, or you just might not have heard of them, but they still do well. Every business in there, has done, very well in sales the previous year. So my business partner, Ryan Crockett, has a company who actually finds these companies and help staff their road shows if they're working in Costco's or Sam's Clubs or AFEs. And so I partnered with him to develop a strategy to get these brands out there without them paying an employee fee. Because usually if they're marketing their product, they have to like find employees to market them at road shows and trade shows. That's how they get the word out. And so I said, well, what if we can create a platform where we can work on equity deal and a percentage of sales done, and we'll do the media side, and I'll work on getting it on television and work with my partners there, and they just send us product, and we all work a commission, kind of like a quote unquote eat what you kill model. And so it's been working really well. These brands are chomping at the bit to be on season 2, of the Caleb Showroom. But right now we've got 12 brands on that website that are amazing, and really great holiday gifts, as well as New Year's resolution gifts for those who are making the New Year's resolution. I mean, there's one particular product that I got my eye on for my family. I really would love to get it for my folks. It's called a Zaz machine, and Zaz is a company. It's just a brilliant inventor, and he's invented this machine that actually you work out by literally standing on this machine. You put it right in your home, and it's a total body workout. And you just check it out on my website. It's amazing, but it's called Zaz. You go through my website, you get a deal, you get a discount. So every single brand on there has given my audience a special discount. Usually you just have to put in my name, but if you go to Caleb's Showroom, you get that discount for all of the products there. You just have to go through calebshowroom.com and check all those brands out. But boy, yeah, there's some really cool ones. I'm so privileged to have, yeah,
We'll talk about it. I love the concept. So it's calebshowroom.com.
yeah,
Just one word, Caleb Show.
yes, one word.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so if folks go there, they'll see this showroom for like 12 different companies about, is it?
Yeah. 12 different companies right now. Is this our first iteration? We're adding more. There's more calling us, and we're working. We're going through growing pains, like any small business. But these are all small businesses. They all stand by their products. All of their manufacturing is owned, so it's not like overseas manufacturing. They own their manufacturing, and they stand by their product. And there's just there's a trust that we're trying to restore. in the American, with the American consumer and American products, to where they understand, okay, this is where the product is coming from, and this is the owner of it. The owners come on my show. So I do a little infomercial and highlight their product and see how it works. And so you can see me doing some wacky things, on television. Right now we're on WGGS TV 16 and on Biz TV. So we're in quite a few homes. We want to increase our reach, for sure, and working on that. But boy, it's so fun. These products are amazing.
And if you would,
Skincare
Caleb,
products.
right, you
Yeah, go ahead.
mentioned, I was going to ask you, so give me a range, if you don't necessarily know all the names off the top of your head, but give me a ballpark idea of some of the kinds of products people will find if they go to this showroom.
4D is a brilliant energy drink. It's like a Gatorade, except with none of the bad, all of the good. You've got Bobolo, which is another amazing like lifestyle drink, kind of a juice drink. You've got Zaz machines, which is a total body workout right in your living room. And it's just an amazing machine, and I used it, and it was a total body workout. All these people came to my studio where we filmed this, and let's see, Smart Silk. Oh boy, Smart Silk. Now, Smart Silk, get smartsilk.com. Go there and purchase your Smart Silk. That brand is unbelievable. A good night's sleep in there. I mean, you fall asleep and it's like you felt like you have your full 10 hours. I mean, you might have only slept 6 and you have your full 10 hours. That's getsmartsilk.com. And boy, they are giving great deals. They created a whole website for us where the deals are already in place. You already get the 30% off. You already get the free shipping. You just go to getsmartsilk.com, and that's what you do. You already it's really amazing what they are offering there. That's our one Canada-based brand. There's also, trying to think. Oh, Sexy Modest. Boy, ladies, if you guys are looking for a brand that is sexy yet still staying modest, something you can wear to business, something you can wear to, going to coffee, walk the dog, they've got this apparel that is comfortable, but boy, is it look amazing. And we had the opportunity to go to the home of these folks, the Sexy Modest owners, and it's a husband and wife couple. You just wouldn't believe how amazing their brand is, and they're selling all across the world. They're doing really well.
By the
So
way,
yeah.
if somebody is listening, a company or business wants to become involved in this,
Yeah.
they contact the website and then they'll have contact information to reach you. You're
All
you're
they got to
you're
do. Yeah.
you're open to new businesses coming on board.
Always, always
Okay.
are, always are. We've got a queue of about 50 more brands. We want more. We want to swell this thing to about 250, 500 brands. Before we start pressing the brake and restructuring. So yeah, we want to know, if you have an interesting product and I feel that has needs to be spotlight, and you want to get on, our television platform. The process is not stringent. All they need to do to begin with, if they don't already know me, you need to go on to calebshowroom.com and just enter in the submission form. Hey, I'm so and so, and this is my brand, and just reach out that way.
Yeah.
So
I met you, I think, originally also. You were doing something else at the time, among other things. You had done, I guess you still do fashion design yourself, right? You
yeah,
had
I
you
was
had a
doing.
you had a clothing line at one time, or were you doing that?
I, I was styling more so. I did Goodwill. I'd done a couple shows with Goodwill
I
where they
remember,
were
yeah.
like, "Well, we want to make sustainable clothing from shopping in Goodwill," and they still do that show, and they're amazing, amazing colleagues of mine, and still to this day, I attend anytime I'm in town. But that's what I was doing mostly. It was just sustainable fashion. Like, how can you take something that's already been made and recreate it into something amazing? So,
And you, I guess, did a whole bunch of fashion shows with them, or you were
oh
involved in that?
yeah, I was. That's always been. It's just like this brand, Sexy Modest. I think that's how they won my heart. Is they're like, hey, Caleb, we've got something that people are actually going to feel comfortable and look great. And I said, yeah, you're on. Come on, to the Caleb showroom. It's always been a big part of my appearance. I just love being comfortable, dressing for the occasion, and I love to share that with others. So
Let me ask you about
the
one other thing.
magic of style.
Let me ask you about one other thing you're involved in too. And again, it's just, just to keep track of all this stuff, it's almost blows me away. You're also involved with a company, was it Samstone?
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, we did Sands. Yeah, boy, you do your research, Blaine. Yeah. Well, Sandstone Health and Rehabilitation has office, so many locations. I was very, very privileged to be hired by Kudzu Marketing, and Kudzu's fantastic marketing firm in downtown Asheville. They brought my crew out to film their client, who is Sandstone Health and Rehabilitation, do some filming for them and cut some commercials for them. That they're putting it all over. I hear their name a lot in the region, and they're a big, formidable name in health and healthcare. So it was just a fun project to work on, and everybody there was so great, so kind and welcoming to our crew, and didn't mind cameras everywhere. So
And
you always have to appreciate that.
what was the project you did for them? What exactly was it?
So it was just, a series of commercials. They asked for some videos highlighting, their residents, highlighting what they do, highlighting their facility, and that's what we were filming. And so they were going to use it to air on local television and some other places as well. But we weren't the only ones there. They did a radio spotlights. They did. Here's the amazing thing. This is a shout out to Kudzu Marketing, and their whole team is just phenomenal. If you guys don't know who Kudzu Marketing is, they're the most amazing group of women and men that do marketing for all kinds of brands everywhere. And they produced this in 2 days. And they hired I was just one cog I was just one wheel in the entire cog. But they produced this in like 2 days, I think I want to say. So all the radio segments, our filming, what else they had? Some photos. They had a photographer doing all extensive photography, um, maybe some other stuff. So all of that marketing, promotional stuff in 2 days. And then of course there's editing involved with ARP and everyone, but to do that is just a testimony to Kudzu and Sandstone Health and Rehabilitation, their working relationship. This is fantastic. I was happy to be a part of it.
Let me put you on the spot, Caleb. In terms of moving forward here, what do you see yourself doing? Let me ask you two different ways. One, in terms of the upcoming next couple months, next year,
Yeah.
do,
Yeah.
do you have anything hot you're working on, or just continually doing what you're doing?
That's a really, really, really great question. There's always the funny thing in my lifestyle now, there's always a new project that comes about.
It seems,
Okay. I
yeah.
I don't I kind of now I entertain them, but I not rushing to them as I in my younger career. Now I try to plan for the next thing and that I feel will be impactful. So apart from that, I am really would love to start working with pharmaceutical brands that are trusted. Um, there are a lot of amazing American-made pharmaceutical companies that have. My battery is getting low, Blaine. I think I need to charge this, and I don't know if I have my charger here, but I'm
Okay.
at
Well,
5%. But
just in case, then I appreciate you telling me that. Let's kind of
yeah,
wrap up just in case.
yeah.
So I've been speaking with the amazing Caleb Owolabi, entrepreneur, business startup guy, you name it. Caleb's the guy. And people want to get in touch with you, Caleb. What's the best bet?
They could just, call Caleb.com. And then I have an email, and then actually they could email me personally is Caleb080 at gmail.com. And check this out, Blaine. I have not changed that email since I was in middle school. I've had that same email since I was in middle school at Owen Middle School, the Caleb080 at gmail.com. So anyway, it's just a fun fact about, how long has someone had their Gmail account. So I filter through emails. I look back at emails from years and years and years ago, and I look at how I was writing back then versus how I do now. So it's a really fun experience for me. to see my progression. But they can email me right there. And I have other emails for the business emails and stuff. But if they really want to get in touch with me, Blaine, all of your audience, they can reach me at that caleb080@gmail.com. That's my personal email. So that goes
Okay.
directly to me.
And Caleb, before we get cut off here, I'd like to thank you for being my guest again on Blaine's World webcast. Also, like to thank my producer,
My
Cappy
pleasure.
Cassetti. And hopefully we'll bump into each other sometime in the not too far distant future, man. You be well.
Yes, yes, thank you. Tell Cappy I said hi. We really
Uh,
appreciate her.
Okay, great. Thanks, buddy.